What if Uncle Ben survived in the TASM movie? In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you part 3 to what if Uncle Ben survived in the TASM movies. Since my part 2 video kind of brought us back to a familiar position in the original movies, this video won't really be that different and story heavy, but me going over the events of the end of TASM 1 and the events of TASM 2, explaining what would be different. But before we get to that, if you are new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more fanfictions on the channel, and make sure to hit the bell so you can get them as soon as they come out. But with that being said, let's get straight into it. The movie would play out fairly the same as it did before, however the difference is that Uncle Ben is still alive. So instead of Gwen being Peter's guidance, since at the end of the last part she quite clearly didn't want much to do with Peter, Ben will be the guidance. Not necessarily knowing who Peter is per se, but giving him advice on where to take himself, just as he says great power with great responsibility and all that kind of stuff. We will have a couple of scenes with May and Ben, and this will really be the only dynamic of the movie that is entirely different, since Ben is still alive. When it comes to Dr. Connors and all of the lizard stuff, that would play out exactly the same as it did in the original movie, with Dr. Connors wanting to transform everyone into giant lizards and all that. We will get the scene where the lizard attacks the school, however Gwen won't help him out this time, and she will just run away, leaving Peter to deal with the lizard himself. Peter will get extremely injured during this fight, and then the lizard runs off. Ben will call in, asking Peter if everything is okay, and he will say it is. We will cut to later on in the movie where Dr. Connors is about to detonate the serum. Spider-Man will be on the scene as well, except Gwen won't be cooking up the antidote at this point. Gwen is actually evacuating the city with her family, and Peter looks into his phone. He will try to call Gwen, and then she won't pick up, but then he will call again in desperation. This time she answers, and she says it's not the best time. Peter will explain the whole situation to her, and says that he needs her to go into Oscorp to cook an antidote. Gwen says that she can't because she's evacuating the city with her family. Peter asks her at least tell him how to do it. Gwen will tell Peter the formula and tell him how to cook it, and then Peter will head to Oscorp. Lizard puts the formula in the ejector, and Peter is trying to make the antidote at Oscorp at the same time. The lizard, however, will see this and will seek him out, and they will have a massive fight throughout Oscorp Tower. Peter is trying to stop the lizard from detonating the serum, whilst the lizard is also trying to stop Peter making a cure for it. However, since Gwen isn't there, it takes a lot longer to make it, since he has to fight the lizard at the same time. Therefore, the lizard bomb actually goes off this time, turning everyone in New York into giant lizards. However, Peter doesn't turn due to his DNA already being combined with a spider, so he is the only one safe from this detonation. However, everyone in New York is now giant lizards. Now Peter has to fight off multiple giant lizard monsters. They all start to climb the side of Oscorp Tower as the lizard calls them, whilst Peter gets the antidote. Peter almost reaches the ejector on top of the tower when the lizard stops him, saying that nothing can stop him now and for Peter to give up. We'll have the same sort of situation we had in the original movie where the lizard has his tail around Peter's neck. This time Captain Stacy isn't actually there to save him either, but due to the destruction caused by Oscorp, the floor beneath the lizard cracks and breaks, and in dramatic fashion, he is sent to the bottom of the tower. Peter webs up to the detonator and places the antidote in, as he fights off multiple giant lizards. The lizard starts to climb back up Oscorp Tower quickly, when he only has a couple of seconds left until the antidote goes off. As soon as the lizard was about to reach Peter, the antidote is released, and the city is saved. Everyone turns into humans again, including Dr. Connors. So that's TASM 1 done, but when it comes to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, things would be pretty much exactly the same as they were, except Gwen, I don't think, would have died. I reckon it would have taken Peter a lot longer to beat Electro, as him and Gwen weren't as close since she helped him in the original movie, which would have gave Goblin enough time to reach them before Electro was beaten, meaning it would have been a massive tag team showdown between Goblin and Electro, which I'm not gonna lie, if we saw that, that would have been absolutely insane. Gwen would have survived, but ultimately Peter would have won. Peter also wouldn't have had his new TASM 2 suit, since that was the suit made by Gwen in his spin-off comic, so he would have had his original TASM 1 suit. However, if Gwen and Peter did grow close in this movie, there is a possibility that going into The Amazing Spider-Man 3 or even 4, or at some point later down the line in this timeline of story, that Gwen would have eventually made him a new suit if they did eventually get close. The stuff about Peter's parents wouldn't have been as prominent, as a lot of it did happen in TASM 1 instead. However, there would be more stuff on Peter's dad and what he did at Oscorp, and I feel like this would have been a nice little B-plot for Uncle Ben and Peter to have together in this movie. I feel like it would have been a nice little side story where they could figure this out together, since Uncle Ben was Richard Parker's brother, so I do think that that would have been an interesting story. Uncle Ben would have really stepped in and be acting as Peter's guidance throughout TASM 2, just as he would have done in the first movie, but apart from that,
nothing much would have really changed. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this shorter video. Sorry it wasn't a normal fanfiction format with me really narrating the story to you in dramatic fashion. It was just me explaining the events, but since you guys wanted part 3, I feel like I had to wrap it up and explain what would have happened at the end of TASM 1 and in TASM 2. Thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy and want more fanfictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to not miss another fanfiction when it does come out on the channel. And I'll see you all in the next one. Take care and peace.